Hey everyone, it's Billy's RC, and in this video I'm bringing the long-awaited review of the Mugen Seiki MBX8T Eco. So to start off this review, I'm going to quickly cover the general information. So the MBX8 chassis is the latest in Mugen Seiki's A-scale line. So I've owned the car for a total of 4 months, and in that time I've learned a lot about the car in terms of its design and handling characteristics. So the price varies depending on where you buy, but you can expect the price to be around $700 US. It can be found on well-known online stores like Amazon, eBay, Horizon Hobby, and A-Main, just to name a few. So with the general information out of the way, let's jump straight into the actual car. So I'm going to start off by what electronics I'm using. First up for power, I run the Hobbywing Max 8 ESC and motor combo. The ESC is rated up to 6S and I use Dean connectors. The motor is rated up to 2200 kV and can take up to 6 cells worth of LiPos, which translates to roughly 49,000 RPM. Up front it's a little bit tangly with the wires, but for steering duties I use this Savox SB2273SG brushless servo, and the specs are actually really good for running in truggy in general. And of course for the transponder I like to use my MyLapse 3-wire transponder. So the entire design of the car has been revised and updated with the latest designs and geometry. So visually compared to the MBX8T and 7TR, they're very visually similar, but most of the car has been changed. Starting with the front clip of the car, a lot of changes have been made. So the biggest visual change to the front clip of the car are going to be the A-arms. They are now larger and softer and now have an insert. Mugen does offer two kinds of inserts that change the stiffness of the arm. The stock plastic one that comes with the kit and a harder graphite insert. Note that the graphite insert is an option part that does not come with the kit. So the effects of having the plastic one will give you more flex in the arm and will give you more traction on looser surfaces. And the graphite inserts are pretty much the opposite of the plastic ones, and they give you more traction on higher grip surfaces, and it also stiffens up the arm. Speaking of the arms, Mugen has also made the lower and upper arms longer and the hub shorter to counter the longer arms to keep the track the same as the 7TR. The diff boxes have obviously been changed as well for easier access to the differentials and making it easier for maintenance. One thing that I did notice during the build was that the differential was actually able to move about slightly in the diff case, but it didn't really seem to have that much of an effect while driving, but Adam Drake did address this in a recent video. The front shock tower has also been changed. It is now thicker than it used to be to increase durability. The rear clip of the car is pretty much the same as the front. Bigger, softer arms with an insert in the new gearbox, obviously, that allows for easy access diffs, except the shock tower is thinner in the rear than it is in the front, but thicker than the 7TR. Before talking about the rear, the wing has also received an update. It has now lightweight cutouts to reduce the weight that the previous wing had. Another big change that was made on the MBX8 were the Diff Ring and pinion gear. They are now straight cut gears to stop the infamous grinding sound and to make the diff have smoother rotation. So the front and rear clips of the car out of the way, let's talk about the new features you get on the chassis. So the chassis is a standard layout with the battery on one side and the motor on the other. The motor mount is all aluminum and screwed down by 2 screws instead of 1, just to increase stability and to reduce the flex to increase the life of the plastic spur. Another update that was made to the chassis were the actual chassis braces themselves. They are plastic, but they do have rubber grommets so that they don't actually snap whenever the chassis actually flexes to make them more durable, and the servo is actually closer to the center line as well. So that about covers it for the chassis. Let's talk about how this car drives on the track. To put it simply, it drives very neutral most of the time as it is a truggy. It drives smoothly when you're just taking it easy, and it's really easy to get on the power if you do want to drive aggressively. And the fact that it's a truggy means that you can do much more with it compared to a buggy. It's just really easy to drive overall. It's really stable in terms with minimal chassis roll. It also jumps and lands very well. The car also has an abundant amount of steering, which is one of the aspects they set out to improve to make it more like a buggy, and it works well. The rear end I noticed while driving was considerably aggressive, and I only point this out because my friend Andrew actually told me that the previous versions of the MBX rear ends were in a way much calmer, but way more noticeable in the buggies than the truggies. While Mugens have been known for being extremely durable, which I do agree with, I have only broken one part, and that part was a rear hub pin. And it wasn't the steel rod part that snapped or bent, it was actually the threaded part that seemed to have sheared itself off. And to confirm that this wasn't just a fluke or freak accident, I talked to my friend Brandon LP about this, and he said that he actually also had the same thing happen to him. But that's about it for weak spots, and I haven't had any other breakages since. Now speaking on the topic of parts, not a whole lot of places in the US stock parts for Mugen, but the best place to get parts in the US at this time will be from A-Main Hobbies. To sum up, I really enjoyed the car overall. The look, the handling, the performance, and the design. Now with all that said, it's not going to be for everyone. But for me, I think the MBX8T Eco is an amazing truggy and I highly recommend it. And now, Mugen is going to be my brand of choice for my A skills. So that about sums up everything for me, but these are only my thoughts and opinions, so before you go out and buy one, I encourage you to go out and find other people's opinions first before you make a decision. With all that said, thank you for watching. Also, if you want to get more involved with the channel, you can check out my Facebook page or join my Discord server. All links will be in the description.